There you go. The next knife I'm going to bring out is one by REVO. This is the only knife by REVO that I own, and it's called the Vipera. Honestly, I want to buy more REVO knives because of this one. Now, as you can see, it's quite little. It doesn't see a lot of use because of how small it is. Like, just not the most usable knife. Since acquiring this one, I do see that they make an extra large version that I would definitely be curious about, and some of their other models. This knife blade is a 9CR18. Super sharp knife right out of the box. I've had this one for a few years, so it is dirty just from sitting essentially. But this is the first knife that I've ever owned actually with G10 scales, and it's really because of this knife that I really like G10 scales. I got this through a Knife of the Month club, just a random thing in the mail, and in fact I definitely think I need to do it more and sign up for it again, because this REVO and the past videos I had, Bear & Son cutleries, knives that I don't see in the stores local to me that I actually like, but probably would have never thought to purchase had I seen them in a store. So it was a really good way to get my hands on some knives that, you know, I would have never bought before. It is a liner lock, but it's really difficult to manipulate one-handed. It does have the hole in the blade, you know, but one-handed operation don't work. The action's pretty stiff, always has been. But the thing I like about it is I think it retails for about $28. It feels like a really quality knife. So I definitely wouldn't mind trying one of their larger knives in the future. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. I thought it was D2. For some reason I remember it being D2, and I got it a few years ago. And so before doing this video I looked it up, and it seems that it's 9CR. So I'm not going to say that this one doesn't have D2. It's not marked at all. But for about 3 years I've had this knife, I've always believed it to be D2. Honestly, I still think it probably is, and maybe since then they've switched to 9CR. I don't know. But for the purposes of this video, if you like it and you decide to buy one, it's going to be 9CR18 steel. Yeah, but I always did believe that it had D2. I even thought somewhere on the blade it said D2, and I just don't see it anywhere. I see no markings of any kind other than the logo. And for some reason, I thought it had a small D2 on there. Guess, could be mistaken, but I haven't looked at this one in a while. But anyways, whether it's D2 or not, I don't know. But I really like the knife. Got me into the G10 handles. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's the reason I like D2 is because of this knife, so I'm quite positive it is D2 steel.
You wouldn't recommend that? You'd recommend the knife, but not that size?
Yeah, I definitely. I think REVO seems to make a really great product, and you know, if you like small knives, more power to you. But honestly, I think, I don't know if you can see it, but like when you look at that profile, it's pretty thick. It's a pretty thick knife. So I personally would rather have a thinner profile and have it be a little bit longer. You know, this is a deep carry clip, but I don't think it really needs one, because it just seems like a nice little discreet knife to forget about in your pocket. But
okay, you have to say I would recommend this knife, but in a bigger size, because I'm going to cut my voice out.
yeah, I would definitely recommend this knife. But for me personally, I would recommend it more in their XL size that they have. That wasn't available when I got this one, and honestly when I looked at some of their products a few months ago, I don't even remember seeing the XL size. but I like it. I mean, it's a great knife. I tell people about REVO all the time because of this knife. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. It's a nice little knife. I mean, it's a little small for me to put in my pocket for daily use, but you know, maybe it's a nice one to carry in your pocket during Christmas time for opening packages or something, you know. I almost feel like it'd be better instead of having a pocket clip if it had a keychain attachment, because that's about the size it feels like for me. It feels like it'd be a better keychain than an actual pocket knife. But yeah, maybe one of these days I'll get the large size and see once how it compares, stacks up to this one. The larger one, I think, says it is assisted opening. So right there, I know it should be something you can deploy with one hand. Whether you can close it one-handed or not is another story. But as it stands, this one, you know, really requires two hands to open and close. Which, you know, kind of like the old school slip joint knives. In fact, I haven't looked at this knife in so long that when I was telling somebody about it pretty recently, I thought it actually was a slip joint, just because of how small it was. I totally forgot it was a liner lock. But this knife always stuck out to me, you know, for being quality, for, you know, pretty small budget, you know. You don't really need to save up for one of these, so. Like I said, I think I was just on their website, and I think they're like $28. And some people, you know, $28 might be a bit much for a knife that size, but I think it's not a terrible price, even though, you know, it is a pretty small knife. So it seems to be made of quality material, and it seems to be built really well.